Greetings. This is Don Melito.
Ross Lyon.
We're the Advocates.
Advocates.
And
what's that email?
Oh yeah, the email. advocates960@gmail.com. That's how we can be reached.
No doubt.
Also, after we go ahead and do these little insightful videos they're posted on YouTube, once you go to YouTube, you can just go to the URL and type in the AVDO cats. We should plug that link and everything.
Yeah, give me one more time. The ADVOCATS.
Yes.
The Advocates.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's on YouTube, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's on YouTube. Today's discussion, I talked around to a few people. I even went back home these past few days and I talked to them about a few discussions that we were having.
Yeah.
What we wanted to do. But we came across this one discussion that maybe might be very
insightful, like you said.
Yeah, insightful, if I can use that word again.
Yeah, and provide an angle. There's always angles, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we feel as if Hollywood or Holly Fate
tell about it.
Gives you an angle where you're not really seeing the truth.
Oh, man.
Does everybody know what the word truth means? Ross, you know what the word truth means?
I do. I see it, when I relate to it from a spiritual aspect as not only something factual, but because factual means being able to be verified via data. But truth means that there's a sense of relativity in what is being mentioned. It reverberates with all whom are aware or cognizant of that entity or that being. So truth to me is even greater than factual.
So if you use that truth in a propaganda type method where the people who are always looking at it and they're seeing it and they're hearing it day in and day out,
wow,
pretty soon that false truth will become a truth to them. Am I correct?
Yeah. So you're talking about a truth being perception being reality, exactly. Whatever someone perceives being what's real to them.
And I'm talking about some of these movies that have just risen.
Oh man,
I don't understand why the actors and everybody's been saying it. Not just me,
right.
Not just us. Everybody's been saying this. The actors have been betraying in this. They're false because they're white.
Right.
Ben-Hur, the Ten Commandments.
Right.
But I was thinking one of my favorite movies when I was coming up as a little kid. I saw Star Wars and I loved it.
Listen, you've got to be kidding, because in fact, on what I was looking up in regards to this research, one of the things that I looked up was Tony Browder.
Okay.
And he speaks a lot. I could not find my From the Browder Files book, but I looked up.
That's a very deep book.
It's a great book. And that's Anthony Browder, for anyone who's unfamiliar with that book, From the Browder Files. If you don't have it, get it. You need it. You need it. It's going to provide a whole bunch of keys for you. It's symbology, a whole bunch of other things. But when I looked up what Tony Browder had on the net in regards to Hollywood, right? He speaks exactly about what you were talking about now. And I found this, you could probably Google it. I put in Tony Browder, and what came up was the truth about Hollywood. And it's a posting by www.realityspeaksbookstore.com. But anyway, in the particular video, he goes on to talk about a book called Hero of a Thousand Faces. And he goes on in this clip. It's about a 9-minute clip, right? 9-minute clip. And he talks about how the book chronicles the journey of a hero and how this particular theme, this theme is allegorically implied in a variety of movies, even religious literature, everything. So he breaks down, I think it's 7 aspects of the hero's journey, right? And he talks about how George Lucas speaks about when he read this, he became inspired to create Star Wars because he said Nixon had just resigned or whatever, and the nation was depressed. This is now Tony Browder paraphrasing George Lucas's words about how he read Hero of a Thousand Faces and it inspired him.
Okay.
And so Lucas says that he needed to create something that would enliven people again, that would, regenerate hope within the nation.
So, which leads me to my next point.
By the way, the name, the topic of this subject, and we're gonna get Mike Dita to title it for us when we post it.
Hollywood and morals, can they coexist?
Thank you, Don Melito. No, I appreciate that. That was right on time.
Star Wars and a lot of movies, basically, and they still do it today.
Yeah.
Anything that is evil is black or is dark.
So that would be Darth Vader and
which was the most evilest person back then.
right.
But he was so evil and he controlled everything. Guess who he controlled? The stormtroopers. But they were wet though. They were all
white, weren't they?
Yes.
Wow. He controlled the stormtroopers, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what was always crazy was Darth Vader's voice, right? But that's James Earl. That's right.
Go ahead.
That's that James Earl Jones thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gotta love that.
All these things basically can be made, or you can look at them as entertainment, which they are.
Right.
But at the same time and everything, you can look at other things. Not to say that I'm some type of super psychologist, but if you just put something in front of me sometimes,
right,
and I know it's not true,
right,
then it's not true.
Right. And then the question automatically, right, becomes, why is it being presented as such? Right?
Why? Why is it being presented as such?
Right. And so that's kind of what leads to what the topic is. Can morals and Hollywood coexist? Because I guess we're saying with this type of power to produce this imagery that is consumed by the masses, right? Yes. Not only here, right? Yes. Not only in the United States, right? Yes. But abroad.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And these become like worldwide themes. Again, the themes aren't new, right? We see it in the story of Jesus. We see it in whatever literature you're talking about. That the Christian theme, even just someone, they're born, they have a legacy they're trying to fulfill. They encounter adversity, mm-hmm. right? They battle with the adversity. Usually they're in that battle of the adversity, there's a sacrifice made, okay. Whether it's a family member is lost or the person has to make a personal sacrifice, okay. Right? Then through that time of adversity, it reveals to them their inner strength, right? Their okay. own strength. Then they go on, they battle with whatever is portrayed in evil, as you're saying, in that particular context. Mm-hmm. They conquer it. Then there's the reward, the personal fulfillment, that's usually shown that they received in conquering it. Okay. Then they get also the reward of building another relationship. Okay. Usually they meet a woman if it's a man, or vice versa. If it's a woman, she meets a man, man meets woman, blah, blah, blah. They go on to build a family, right? And the saga continues.
I guess when you get older, uh-huh. You look at things just differently.
Right.
Like this sculpture right here.
Okay.
It could be considered a very nice sculpture, but if you look at it and everything, I think it's very antagonistic and everything. I think they're making fun, basically, of the sculpture and our heritage. I think it's cheaply well made. But anyway, That was a little nothing.
No, I know what you mean. But you're saying,
I believe basically it's hard for morals to exist in Hollywood because I have a friend of mine, K-Sign, big up, how you doing? This is my man I grew up with in New Jersey. He's in Hollywood and has been in Hollywood for 20 some odd years.
Wow.
He's in the SAG.
Okay. Screen Actors
Guild. Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's a union.
Of course.
It's the same union that protects unions on the docks and on the bays.
Wow. Okay.
So back then, you had mob influence because they were unions. You must let my boys work.
Right.
Let my girl work.
Right.
Now, I asked him. I said point blank, do you think people get to a certain level because they're doing things in Hollywood? He told me, yeah.
I see.
He said, yeah. To get to a certain level, yeah. I mean, you know, he's
so for example, let me just make sure I'm following your path here. So you're saying, like, for example, say somebody's a rapper or a hip hop artist, and they come out with something, but once they're able to go ahead and get some recognition in a movie, then they're elevated to a whole different status.
He has told me. I don't know. See, that's why we need, you know, Mikal D here to go ahead and
engineering.
Yeah. The super engineer. But he told me and everything that you might have to do certain shit.
Right.
Like a lot of these actors, sometimes they wear a dress.
Yeah. Now I've heard that thing.
Look at that movie Wu Tu Wong Fu or something like that.
Okay.
Where the brothers wore a dress.
Okay. Right. I've been seeing some postings about that. And Dave Chappelle had mentioned something about that too, right? Didn't he say, his thing was he could have been a millionaire. Well, I could have been 100 millionaire. Now I'm just, maybe I got a little under 10 million because I told him, hey, well, nah, that's funny, but I don't need to wear a dress for it to be funny. And then he kind of got blackballed to a degree. And then we go again with the whole imagery thing.
This gentleman is doing his thing up here.
Okay.
We're regular mofos.
Right, no doubt.
We're just recognizing things around us.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. And so depending then upon one's willingness to maybe compromise what it is you might believe, right? And not only compromise it, but let's say let's have it captured on a screen, and this thing is going to be played all over the world. Right, and broadcast.
You know who William Dafoe is? That white actor.
Right.
He played the Goblin in Spider-Man.
Right, yeah.
Have you seen his latest commercial?
Yeah, doesn't he have on a dress? He's acting like which chick is it?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. He's doing the Marilyn Monroe.
They give him a Snickers and it turns to Marilyn Monroe. The first he's
right.
all bitchy.
Right.
I want to see if he gets any like roles coming up and everything. Because if you look at it,
he's gonna get some paper.
If you do a timeline,
he's gonna get some paper.
You know?
Yeah. That's kind of like a thing, like telling Hollywood, like, yo, I need some money. Let me go put on a dress. Is that how that works?
I was laughing. That's why this topic was very interesting. But I felt basically, you said, I think we talked about propaganda.
And so with that one, like when you first mentioned the topic to me, Dom and Lito, I loved it too. And again, I'm Ross Lyon. We're the advocates, and the subject of this discussion is, can Hollywood and morals coexist? Right?
Coexist means basically, can they get along together harmoniously? If you're in the Hollywood industry, you're making movies so other individuals can see these movies, like children. Everybody's heard of the hidden messages in children,
right?
Penis objects and stuff like that, and everything.
Right.
These kids see these images, and it screws with their minds,
Right.
And so that's coexisting.
Right. And the point you're making about the children too is that these movies are broadcast, and the audience is different age ranges. So some people are very impressionable when they're first seeing these movies.
Extremely impressionable.
Right. So when you ask the question, the first thing that came to mind to me was Moses' staff, what was made of holly wood from a holly bush, right? The holly tree.
Okay.
So I just happened to be reading the Bible, reading the scriptures one day, and I came across this. This is in Matthew, first book of the Gospels, right? Chapter 23. And I'm going to read like verse 1 and go down just a little bit. I'm not going to go too far with it.
That was Matthew what?
Matthew chapter 23.
Okay.
And I'm starting at verse 1. This is the King James Version of the Bible. And for a lot of people, just to speak on that King James Version of the Bible, a lot of people like, the New Living Translation, this, that, and the third. You're going to miss out on some of the ties that the Bible has into everyday society if you don't take the time to learn how to read well enough where thee, thou, and thou, and all that, ye, and all that doesn't throw you off from understanding the meaning. You're not going to have the original phraseology, which is going to connect it with certain other stuff. But that gets into etymology.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, that's going to be another subject.
Okay. I didn't mean to go too far off there. You know what I'm saying?
Let me write it down now.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Back on subject.
All right. So this is chapter 23. And again, we're talking about Hollywood. This is just what it triggered in my mind. And I remember when I had this discussion, when I would be building with my Rasta community, big up Rastafari globally. See? The Moors, Hebrew Israelites, the Commission brothers, sisters, the whole conscious community, big up to yourself. Even the black bourgeoisie, we need a little help with some paper, you know what I'm saying? But that's another story. Anyway, what it brought to my mind was that the reason it's called Hollywood is, from what I was told, is that they're able to control the people's minds because Moses' staff was made of holly wood, the wood of a holly bush. So, as I said, I was reading the scriptures. I try to read some of Christ's word every day just to humble myself down. That's a personal thing. But, and so I read chapter 23 of Matthew. It says, "Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not." And I think that's an excellent example of what you're talking about as far as these things are broadcast. Again, it's mass consumption of this imagery, right? And it might be, like you say, truth, or it might not. It might be just a total misconstruing of the truth. But when it is broadcast to so many people and it is beheld and it's consumed on a mass level, it becomes recognizable, something that reverberates, something that if I say to you, Star Wars, or if I say to you, yo, I'm trapped in the Matrix, or if I say to you, whatever it is, the 10 Commandments, you're going to think of Charlton Heston. It automatically comes to mind. It's not.
And it's funny you said like trapped in the Matrix, because theoretically, a lot of people are trapped in the Matrix.
Right. That was one of those movies for me. It took a while. I'll be honest. I'm not like a big movie buff.
I saw it right away. They're like what the reality that we're living in right now.
Right.
This isn't reality. They're playing on a whole nother level.
This is a download.
Yes.
This is a download.
There's a class system that you're dealing with.
Okay.
And the people who got Luciano up top,
right?
Them little squiggly monsters or whatever.
Right. And so basically, before you're able to really get any type of guidance, you have to get to the level where you talk to the oracle. Yeah. No, I got
it's right there. I mean,
No, I'm telling you, for me, with those movies,
the Terminator.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
That's. I mean, hey.
Okay.
That's the person and everything. Of non-color who really controls everything. And
right.
They want to keep everything controlled.
Right. And with that, robots are kind of trying to take over the world, right? That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He's always coming up with some type of gimmick to take over the world.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why it says in there, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So, right there, Yehoshua, the Christ, yes, it's Emmanuel. Jesus, as you all call him. And again, we can get into whether he's a mythological figure or whatever. We're talking about the philosophies and the continuation of a school of knowledge from the people who came to be known as the Hebrews, but who were also obviously right across the river from the Egyptians, right? That's from what my research on the etymology of Hebrew means, Ibiru, from across the river, right? But when we talk about it, what Christ is saying is that whomever is in the place of being able to project on a mass scale their thoughts about how society should be run are the ones whose culture is practice. Hence, so we call the culture of Moses is called theocracy, right? And so it's the culture of God, right? That's what purportedly it came down, from God to Moses, and he gave to the people a culture via a system of laws and regulations, dietary laws, so on and so forth. But with Hollywood, what's happening is that is being the culture of the creators of these movies and images that are traveling worldwide, right? Is that culture is what's being propagated. And then people just live out that reality.
And some people say basically the Jews make this propaganda the truth.
Right.
They make the movies and everything.
Right. And the thing is, with something that we don't often look at, but what we talk about with modern day Jews is that's Yiddish. Those are Yiddish people. We don't want to split hairs on that, but we know who we're talking about. We mean mainly people of European descent who are moneyed. They definitely almost always have money. They're in control of resources. A lot of times they're in positions of power, whether it be in the medical field, whether it's in the entertainment field, even shipping and transportation. That's part of what their thing is they're known for economically practicing nepotism. Right.
They got their hand in something everywhere.
Right. They keep it in the family.
They got their hand in something everywhere.
Right.
But look, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Okay.
This is our second show. If we had one of our engineers here, he would get us on that. But listen, this is our second show. Hollywood and morals, can they coexist? I don't know. I don't think so. It's all movies, but sometimes you just have to pay attention and watch what you see and just be visual. Not everything is what you see is the truth. Believe half of what you see, none of what you hear from the old school.
That's right. That's Don Melito.
That's
I'm Ross Lyon. We're the Advocats.
Make sure you can get at us at advocats960@gmail. Please give us a discussion topic. We'll run it over. Probably kick it out there because we don't mind talking about anything.
Yeah.
That's what separates us. We can talk about anything.
I'm going to post this to my Facebook page too. Yes. This one and the one we did a couple of weeks ago, the initial one, the maiden voyage. So we're going to get this popping, family. We want to hear from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to all the people who are doing something, for the community. Big up to Sonetta TV. Again, the Moors on there. Love seeing what Taj Tariq Bey is talking about, the Hebrew Israelites, Rastafari globally. See? Definitely the Muslim community. Much love to you. Our Christian brethren and sisters, right? Because almost all of us who are black people here in America or globally have someone in our family who lives the culture of what is perceived and known and called Christianity. Big up to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? The Advocats.
The Advocats.
One love.
One. I'd like to give a shout out to my grandmommy. She just turned 90 years old. I love you, grandmommy.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Yo, we out.
Peace.
I'm thinking I got a touch screen and everything. I'm about to touch that.